On this episode of Buff's Garage, I gotta finish Fred the little farm truck because we're running out of time for duct tape drag. But first I gotta finish up a few little issues before we get him running and driving again. And stay tuned throughout the video because I'm gonna answer some of the questions that you guys put in the comments in the last video. Because apparently I'm an idiot. I just got back from running into town, and whenever I came back there were some folks waiting for me here, and I thought that was a little weird. I tried to figure out why they even know where I work, and then I remembered the sponsor of today's video, Delete Me. Do you know what a data broker is? I guarantee they know who you are. Basically, if you're signing up for a new service, new app, anything like that, and it doesn't cost you anything, that means you are what's being sold. And your information is being sold online. Data brokers are accessing the info and pretty much make it available to anyone. And people pay for that information. They want to know about you. Pull up my Delete Me report and it shows, whoa, 600 total listings is what they found online for me. Then that basically means my information is out there available for pretty much anyone. For one small monthly fee, Delete Me will actually go out and find your information and request that it be removed. By contacting those data brokers, making it a lot harder for people to track you down, steal your identity, or just access your information that you don't want access. And if you click on the link below at joindeleteme.com/buffs and use code BUFFS, you get 20% off. Or click on this QR code to get 20% off at Delete Me. I want to thank Delete Me for sponsoring this video and giving you 20% off by clicking the link below or the QR code. Make sure to use Delete Me to get your information deleted from hundreds of online data broker sites. Now it's time to get back to work. So on this episode of Buff's Garage, we have to get everything wrapped up. I want to have this truck running and driving, maybe not by the end, but really close by the end. And the only way to do that is to, well, finish everything else. We've got brakes, we've got fuel, we've got steering, wiring. I mean, all of these things have to be wrapped up by the end. So don't listen to me talk, watch me work. The biggest question I saw in the last video over and over and over and over and over again. Guys, read the other comments first, but why don't you just hook it to the rafters? Well, I'm no structural engineer, but I know that this building was not professionally built. It was home built. And little things like, oh, I don't know, joist hangers, that's not how you do that. And the amount of time it would take for me to fix all that just isn't worth it to me right now so that I can hang a cab off of the roof. These joists do not have the cross rafters, which are very good for sharing that load and spreading it out and then being able to lift something like a cab. You guys are like, well, the cab's not that heavy. I can't lift it. Two people can't lift it. Why? Because this cab is solid. And on top of that, fenders, inner core support, all of that structure is one piece. And other than cutting it up, which we don't want to do any more than we have to, there's really no way to get the weight down on this cab right now. Could I have purchased a bunch of materials and built an A-frame? Sure, I could have, but I didn't have the time nor the money to do that. I think the best solution I saw in the comments, and the one I'll be doing from now on, is putting a 2x4 or a 2x6 through here, strapping on each side and lifting with the engine hoist that way. That was an excellent idea. So to those of you that sent me that comment, I'll probably be doing that. Why? Because I don't have to re-engineer my ceiling. I don't have to go buy anything. I have everything here to just put the board through, strap it on each side, and lift. Piece of cake. So thank you guys for those comments. I don't want to tell you not to comment. I just want you to read the other comments first and think about maybe the situation I'm in. I'm not the smartest guy in the world and I haven't done it all. But I do know that that's not right. Ray's back. He's going to help me go ahead and finish up Fred the little farm truck, all the intense welding, you know, what do you call it? Extreme welding. He's going to do all that stuff so the Fred doesn't fall apart. But as you can see, they're digging the trench. We have been complaining about not having internet in the shop for a long time, and I've tried every option except for Starlink because we do have fiber in this little area. And I went, for the price of Starlink, I could just get fiber cheaper, but it's been 6 weeks. here they are, finally. So they're putting that in. You guys are going to hopefully see some better live streams in the future. But for now, it's going to be noisy. We're going to just shoot what's necessary because it's going to be in the background. Let's get to work on Fred. I did pick these up. These were the cheapest ones off the internet. Absolutely cheap. Like, yeah, I didn't want to splurge, but for 200 bucks, I figured I was going to spend that on ball joints and bushings anyway. This has all that included. I feel like I'm getting the tubular control arms for free at this point. I got new fuel line, new brake line, fuel hose. I still have to put the water pump and water neck and everything back on. So, oh yeah, I didn't show you guys this. When you're at Dalton, sometimes you pick up his scrap. Before you guys hate me, yes, those are the side pipes off the Holy Goat. No, he's not putting them back on. It's just not gonna happen. So he loaned them to me for this event. So Fred the Little Farm Truck's gonna have a little pedigree, little Holy Goat love right there on the side. We just mocked them up. They look like they're gonna fit perfect. And Ray says he can buzz them in. I also picked up these scrap Pro Stars, and I say scrap. They were no use to Dalton, so that means they're scrap. These are 4-lug that he got and was gonna put them on the Mustang too, but then they sold that, so here they are on the back of Fred. That'll give us some 15 inches. They're inset really well. We shouldn't have any major clearance issues. On the front, you guys gave me a ton of advice, and I just decided, screw it, I'm lazy. The easiest thing to do now that we have a mid-ish engine dragster is leave it gasser look. Yes, it's not a solid axle front end, don't even start on me, but it's a gasser look. So we're gonna lean hard into the gasser look. We've already got the skinnies on the front, it's already up in the air. Let's get this thing back together. Wow, they made quick work of that. That took them like 30 minutes. Been waiting 6 weeks. That's not their fault, they're contractors, but that's done. Guys, we're gonna have internet in the shop. I'm so excited. No more cell phone or little Wi-Fi things. It's gonna be legit. Ray's making a cross member for that. Third. Now we're gonna have to spread this out. How are we gonna spread that out? Like I did last time.
How's that?
With jacks and blocks. Oh. So while Ray's doing that, we're gonna get rid of all this. Yes, I know some of this might be important to the purists out there. Look away, look away. And if you are a purist and you've made it this far with this truck, yeah, you're ready to see the rest of it. So this is not gonna hurt your feelings. Sometimes you gotta break out the little guy to do the job. Okay. Aww. Is there a cross member there?
There is.
I'm excited. Can't believe how they put this speaker in there. 88 degrees in the shop with the humidity of every bit of that. So I can tell you, if we were in the desert right now, 88 would be pretty much paradise. As long as you're not in the direct sun, it's great. With humidity, kind of sucks. So I went ahead and pulled that entire harness out, except I'm leaving, write this down, I'm leaving the windshield wiper motor and the harness intact. So if I can figure out on the other end where it needs power, in theory, we'll have working windshield wipers in Fred. It'd be like the only car I have that has working windshield wipers. While Ray's cutting up the rear end there, I'm gonna just see if the old Mustang 2 column will fit. I don't like that it's got the key here because I really like it on the dash with the Datsun, but I don't care either. This might be exactly what we need to connect. I mean, it came out of the Mustang 2, it's going into the Mustang 2 setup. It should work, right? Well, let's just say, if I modify this and it doesn't work, we're out of steering column. Sorry, Mustang 2 fans. But otherwise, what am I gonna do? So, I'm gonna see if I can't chop this one up and make it fit. And try to figure out where in the firewall it's gotta come out. Because right now, there's not much firewall left. Got to skirt through there to there. I'm sure that won't be an issue. So I got to looking, and I think that steering column is going to fit in there. I'm going to have to notch out. You can kind of see about where that notch needs to go. And hopefully that gets me real close to where I need to hook up. All right, Ray had to go to work, but he's got everything set up, ready to go to put the new perches on. That should get that mounted up. We're also going to go ahead and put a drive shaft safety loop in. I've made some list of our homework. He's going to do spring perches. We're going to build us a steering column tomorrow and do the drive shaft loop. I've got to do a brake master cylinder, cut out more of the firewall, and finish up on the electrical. It's already 5 o'clock. I've got the rest of the night to try to knock all this out before he comes back tomorrow. So looking in my pile, this was the brake master cylinder I had, but it's a one pot and it's made for drum brakes, not for our now disc brakes and drums on the back. So even though this is brand new and would bolt right in, this isn't going to work. But if we come back to the Mustang 2, that I'm told did work before it got turned into scrap. So let's see if we can get that off. This might be easier if I didn't have to balance on the trailer, but I got somebody coming to get some more parts off of this thing, and it's just easier to do. Oh Lord, how did this ever run? That's not great. Maybe we can clean it up. Maybe I should look at what it costs to get a new master. Be right back. Well, it really slows things down because I went to pull that master cylinder and it's bad. I'm sure it functioned, but it's bad. The other issue is it is a power master cylinder and we don't have room for all that. I mean, I would end up with the brakes clear out to here. We're just going to put a manual master cylinder in. It's less than $100. It can be here tomorrow. So yeah, we're going to do that. I do need to try to find the prop valve. It was on the car and now I don't know where it's at. So it's either laying around here in a pile or I threw it away. But we need to find it. If not, I need to order one. So let's move on to electrical because brake master cylinder is pending. So on a Datsun, the main fuse box was right here. Many issues with that. First of all, a lot of it was chewed up and fried. We know it worked kind of, but I went ahead and pulled all the wiring out you saw earlier. So we'll hook into headlights and all that at another point. Under here, I got a complete wiring kit, fuse box, wires, everything. And we're gonna just go ahead and put that in Fred. It's way overkill for what we need, but I'd rather the wiring be good and not have to worry about it. Now, on the inside, where that fed through the firewall, it all fed into this. There's a big clump of wires here. The main thing I want to do is retain this little guy because that runs the wipers. So it looks like I'm going to have to do some digging, get this out of here, and that wire loom just runs right across there and then out to this side. And I see where it spits out for the wipers. So yeah, I'm going to dig all this out and we'll just start over from there. Another suggestion that got brought up way too many times, again, read the other comments. There's 2 freeze plugs between the engine and the transmission. Now, most of you believe that they haven't been touched, and you'd be right. I have not split the engine transmission yet. However, if you guys hit up the merch at buffsgarage.com, that'll help me buy a new torque converter that's better suited for the power band that we're going to need to make Fred's little farm truck, well, more of a race truck. And when that happens, I'm going to go ahead and pull those freeze plugs and swap them out. I mean, I already have them. I just haven't done it yet. Will it happen? Absolutely. So thank you for bringing them up and hit up the merch. Well, I didn't get everything done on my list here. I did cut out firewall. I did pull some of the old brake components, and I did pull the electrical and got it sorted, but now I need to add electrical. So I added my little cushions here. This is about where you're going to sit to drive. Right here's the steering wheel, so I'm straight on with that. But where my foot would go to be the gas pedal, there's engine. So I kind of used a little bit of a tappy tap and smashed in that fender well a little bit. That gives me room for my feet. Gas pedal. We're gonna have to move the brake over, and there's room under the hood to put that master cylinder up there. We're gonna have to plate it on the inside and out. Then I'll have my brake and my gas, my steering wheel. Well, things are heating up in the shop. Ray had to head on home because he got to go to work, but just check out what he got done. He got me new spring perches, all welded in. And yes, we did check the pinion angle to make sure that was going to work. This is not the drive shaft we're going to use. He just used it to eyeball. He put in our safety loop to make sure if that drive shaft does come apart, it's not coming in to the cab and we're not going to pole vault. We're just going to have starter switch, wipers, headlights, ignition. That we don't need this. So I making the executive decision right now. I'm going to ditch this and go with my old faithful, which is the boat fuse box like I used in Falkenstein. Well, Ray blew out all my lights and then left, but he finished all that stuff up, which is awesome, and I can't thank him enough. Check out Wrenching with Ray on YouTube, Instagram. I think he's got a Facebook too. So last time I tried to wire this truck up, you saw me wrestling with it, with that overly complicated fuse box and wiring setup. You know, for a modern style swap on a car, such as LS engines, electric fans, modern gauges, all those things that we're probably not going to do to Fred, that kit probably would have done it. And everything was there. So anything you didn't need, you just, you know, cut out or tuck up underneath the dash. I don't have room for that. Maybe in something bigger, that setup will work, but not in Fred. In fact, Falkenstein, there's not enough room in there either. So I went back to the old reliable, which is the boat fuse box. This thing has 6 circuits in it. You've got grounding points, you got power points, and you even got a fancy little cover. I like these because when you're trying to do simple wiring, you've got an in, you got an out, you've got standard blade style fuses that you can pretty much find anywhere, and it doesn't take up much room. If you need more circuits than 6, well, just upgrade. They do make bigger ones of this, and they're cheap on Amazon. Got it overnight. I'm not saying the big kit isn't a good kit. It is a good kit. It's just not what we need for this truck. We need simple, clean, fast, small. That's where we're at. So I got to find a home for it. I originally wanted this on the passenger side, but the other one wouldn't fit in there. So maybe this time around we'll put it on the passenger side. Let's get to wiring it up. So I'm normally a red is positive, black is negative kind of guy, except for all the times that you've seen me on the channel do it opposite, and then we just won't talk about those times. Those are made for a recessed screw. So how does this one work? As is tradition, we're just gonna put a self-tapper in it. Again, not my line, but you know what? That's what we're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and ground the whole panel to the body, and then we'll go ahead and run a ground directly to the battery as well. And of course, the engine will be grounded to the frame and to the body. We're gonna have grounds everywhere. We just want to be able to complete our circuit. Well, they'll just let anybody into this place. We got Russell, Matthew from Outfits Garage. They're actually here to get some parts off the Mustang too. It's just providing to everybody. So yeah, they came by to hang out in the shop, and I'm gonna kind of point them in the right direction on this car, and then maybe if they get done in time, they can give me a hand on the truck. Well, while they do sketchy stuff, I'll go back to do less sketchy stuff. Wait, this is pretty sketchy. So I got the fuse box tucked up here out of the way. Hopefully it won't be too intrusive to anyone, but that gives us our 6 circuits. It gives us a ground bus bar, our power in, which is most likely going to be accessory power. So when you turn your key on, all the accessories will run through there. Anything else that needs to be, I would say, straight battery power, like our brake lights, our starter, our lights, all that, it's going to all run off relays. It's just safer and less of a load on the poor little ignition switch. From the factory, Datsun ran everything through their ignition switches, and when you add in more stuff to your Datsun than what came on it, it eventually would burn these little guys up. Now at this point, right now, let's make sure this key works. We're going to try to use this, oh yeah. We're going to try to use this Datsun ignition switch. It fits the hole. It works just as good as anything you're going to buy online. And it's only 3 wires. So once I figure out what each one of those do, then that'll dictate how we move forward. All right, so let's start wiring this up. All right, we got our ignition wires coming from the starter over. And this one's going to hook to battery power. This one's going to hook to the actual starter to start the truck. And I've got the accessory wire running to a relay that will also hook into battery. So those two will be together. And then that relay then runs out into the fuse panel. So when you turn the key on, you're going to have direct power running to all the accessories. It's not running through the key. It's not just hot all the time. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. And it's going to do it without putting more strain on the parts. Every day here in the shop, it's been about 120 degrees, and most of that is humidity. I have a swamp cooler, but that doesn't work when it's already like 90% humidity here at the lake. So as much as you guys don't want to hear me talk, understand I'm working in some extreme conditions, and you guys have suggested just hook up AC. Well, that'd be great if it wasn't for the power bill. Like, who can afford $400 electric bill just for the shop? That doesn't make sense to me. That's almost another car project. It does make things more livable, but honestly, it's just not feasible right now. All right, so I've got that switch going. This is for our wipers, because that is very important. And then we have our light switch up there that we'll have to add in at another point. Now the fuse box will have some power once we get a battery. We got to figure out where to put that. Probably need the truck bed back on to get the battery going. So I'm going to pause this and let's jump on that front suspension. So in a previous video, I mentioned that the upper control arm was bent on this thing. And I was really stoked to find another one in the car that we could use. The problem was the bushings and the ball joints were all shot on the whole front end. So I looked up all those parts. And for the same price as the bushings and ball joints, I could get these tubular control arms off of eBay. They're a couple $100, and honestly, I don't have to change the ball joints or the bushings. It's not that I couldn't, but now I don't have to. So hot. By the way, it's 7 in the morning. It's already 90 some degrees plus humidity. I don't know, because I can't think right now, but it's just too hot. So I really like the width of this wheel. I don't, however, like the size of the tire. I would like to see it be like a 15x6, but they don't make it in any of the wheels that I'm looking at. I do have these 15x7s. They were sent to me by FOMOCO Power Garage. I said it wrong in the last video. And I threw a little polishing compound on, and they started polishing up pretty good. So I may just hit them with the old Wonder Wheel on the drill and make them look shiny. 7s are a little wide for what we need, but we could probably make them work. They are brand new tires though, so we'll at least use them for spares. Maybe burnout tires, I don't know. Let's see how this fits. This may not fit at all. And if that's the case, we're running 13s. Huh. Well, that ends that. These don't fit. For whatever reason, they're not the right bolt pattern. And that's okay. We'll make it work. Some of you guys are something else. Either you think you got your engineering degree from the internet, or you just think you're smarter than everybody else. Someone said, hang the cab from the garage door track. Okay, I don't think you guys understand. This cab, despite me cutting it up, is very, very solid. It's very heavy. If I could have manually picked it up, I would have. The inner structure, the outer structure, the core support, all of that is integral. It is welded together. It does not unbolt like it does in American cars. This is all one piece with the glass, the doors. I could have completely disassembled the cab and still could not have picked it up. But those rafters, like I said before, are not rated. And even if they were, they weren't installed so that they could be. They're not correct. Garage doors are barely made to hold garage doors, not entire truck cabs. I don't mean to sound frustrated, but I love that you guys are watching the videos. I love that you have suggestions. Just do some basic math and understand the weight ratio we're dealing with. It's very heavy. Now this, I probably could have hung it from this. This is steel, and that's into concrete. I probably could have hung it from this, but I don't know if it would have got it high enough. Plus it wasn't in that spot at the time, so I would have had to jack it up to move it to this spot and then raise it up. And long story short, that was more effort than I wanted to make. We got it on the frame, and that's what mattered. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for making suggestions. I appreciate those, but just think a little bit. All right, inside here, I went ahead and got this nut loose. On the new setup, this is a bolt with a nut. On this setup, that's a nut and nut. So hopefully that one spins off. I don't think I'm gonna need the hardware, but I'm not gonna get rid of it. All right, let's get that one off. Actually, I don't need to take that one off. Now that I realize I can take those off. Well, I've been fighting with this thing for the last 20 minutes in the heat. Very frustrating. And I know this isn't the perfect tool for compressing that spring, but it's the tool I have. So you can go ahead and put in the comments all the other tools that you use that work. And I'm just gonna say, sorry, I don't own them. I own this one. It doesn't fit. So, this might be the day I die. And if so, you're gonna see it on camera. But if you're watching this video, that means I survived because I'm the only one that's gonna edit it. All right, let's start taking this apart. All right, everybody, let's try not to die. Wait a minute. Well, that doesn't want to come loose, so I'm going to do the wrong thing and try to loosen the top. I say try because there's no way to even get on any of this stuff. Who designed this garbage? At some point we're done asking and we start demanding. Now this is just a proof of concept because this one's already torn up anyway. I just need to be able to get a wrench on there. I'd love to be able to get this impact on there, but that ain't happening right now. There we go. Double wrench trick usually works, but I can't get the rounded end on there to do the double wrench trick. Keep trying. There we go. Double wrench trick. I'd say 90% of the time it works every time. Ta-da! How you do it. Wow, that is way too much spring. Way too much spring. That's a lot of spring for a little truck. Ah well, let's get this out of here. Ha! Dang near fell out. Alright, so we're gonna get our cotter pins loose. Reminds me my cotter pin stock is a little low. So they put the cotter pin through and then they wrapped it around the bolt, but it broke off. So let's see if we can hammer out what's left. Alright, cotter pin out. Let's get this castle nut off. I have nothing to pry against now. I think this is easier when it's in the car. So once again, we're going to do the wrong thing. Let's do the wrong thing the right way. Because sometimes you don't need to do it right. You just need to do it right now. Guess we are going to have to get a pickle fork out. Why is it called a pickle fork? Well, it gets you out of this pickle right here, which is ball joint sticking. Now, if I had the money, this would have been the time we would have put drop spindles on. I barely had the ability to get these tubular control arms, and that was just a matter of saving money and time. So many mechanics actually live by my philosophy of do it right now, because just like this, why go get the right tool when I can use whatever's sitting here? It's the same concept. So if you see them banging a ratchet or a wrench or even a rock like a hammer, instead of going and getting a hammer, they share my philosophy. Yep. Now, as you might guess, this came with absolutely no instructions at all. And if it were just like the one I took out, it would be fairly simple. And I don't think it's going to be that hard to figure out. Let's see. I'm going to guess something like that. Now, the old piece was quite a bit smaller, but it had this strut that we cut that went back to the frame and helped kind of control the, I guess, front and back movement of this control arm. Why they didn't just build them this way, I don't know. But this eliminates the need for that by spreading it out, and then we don't have to have all that extra. This is for the shock. Perfect, look at that. Instead of having a nut and a bolt like the factory did, they've actually welded one in, a nut, and then it came with a bolt with a lock washer. So for a couple $100, not bad. Absolute best thing I love about buying Chinese parts is the fact that even if they did come with instructions, I wouldn't be able to read them anyway. Well, a lot of hammering and probably saying some curse words in their native language to the folks that made this. It was not made correctly. So you get what you pay for. Instead of $500 for a new set of control arms from, let's say, a reputable company, not even one in the US, just one that includes instructions, I ended up getting the no instruction version that was not built exactly to spec. Granted, this side was whacked with a car crash of some sort, but it shouldn't be that close yet that far. The top one will hopefully be a little bit simpler. It is 2 bolts. You do have to reuse these bolts. Now, they are adjustable, but I'm going to try to put it back about where it was. And you know, maybe before we leave, I Might get an alignment. No, probably not. I don't even know where there's an alignment shop at. And this is the point where we decide if we're going to cut this spring or not. These are the V8 springs for the Mustang. They make a 4-cylinder spring that doesn't quite have as much, you know, jolt to it, as much bounce, as much spring. Now they say for every half coil you lose about an inch. I'm not exactly excited that I'm running the 13s on the front, but at this point we don't have a choice. Those others don't fit. So do we cut a coil out? Do we cut a half a coil out? Either way, I just feel like it's too much height. Okay, so I did the wrong thing and I cut a full coil out because 2 inches, just fine. It was a good almost foot too tall anyway, so this eliminates that. All right. You know, the more I look at it, the more I really want those 15x4 Pro Stars. These are only 13x5, so I don't think it's that dangerous. So if you'd do me a favor, hit up the merch, buffsgarage.com. I'll see if I can't swing a deal trying to find me some marketplace or discounted wheels that are 15x4. I'd do the 15x5 or 15x6 if I could find them, but at this point, if I'm going to spend the money, might as well match what's on the rear. Looks less and less farm truck, but no less cool. Let's see what that spring cutting did. Well, all right. Fred came down out of the clouds. I'm tickled. Well, with the tubular control arms and one coil cut out, it dropped him about 1.25 inches. I think we're gonna be good. I'll get some bigger wheels. I'll find them. 15x4. They really have 15x7 or 15x4 Pro Stars. 15x7, I think, just too wide. Speaking of wide, here's the tires. That's the tire that's going to go on the rim. That's a lot of meat. Well, I got the front end done. Everything is put together the way it should be. I assume it's pretty close. Maybe needs an alignment. I don't know. Not an alignment shop around here. We'll figure that out later. I'm wearing the old Quick Performance shirt today in hopes that Quick Performance maybe gives me a call and lets me know they're going to deal with me on that rear end. I just don't have $750 to spend on a rear center section right now. And yes, we can run the one that's in it. I just didn't want to, you know? Anyway, did you know that if you hit up buffsgarage.com, I do ship internationally, and if you don't like the rates that are automatically calculated, hit me up at buffsgarage@gmail.com. Tell me what you want. We'll work out a deal where I can get you the absolute lowest price on international shipping. There's about 50 of you that abandoned your cart. I understand. I don't want to pay the same amount of shipping as what the product costs. So let me know what you're looking for, and I'll get you the absolute lowest rate on shipping. So far, I've been able to about half whatever the auto calculator says. So if you don't like what it says, but you'll pay about half of what it says, hit me up, buffsgarage@gmail.com. All right, let's get back to work. So I'm back here super early in the morning. It's like 6:30 in the morning with, you know, trying to beat the heat. Looking at the fuse box, I remember I put in this relay here. I've got that running to the ignition switch, so when you turn the key on, that's going to give us power to our fuse panel. Now from there, I have to run power to the coil, and in this case, and that runs through this little GM piece here. So we're going to find a place to mount that. And of course, the most important part is wiper wiring. So I'm going to look up all the wires to make sure I know which one goes where. I left the plug-in on it, so it'll plug back into the switch. And then I have my headlight switch somewhere, and we'll get that hooked back up. Then maybe we'll have lights, we'll have wipers. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Alright, so I'm pretty happy with all this. We need to figure out where to put the battery. So I think the bed is the place to put it. Let's go scope out. Well, there's no bed on the truck. Let's figure out where we're going to put it and at least get the wiring ran to that spot. So as I did with Falkenstein, I'm probably going to go ahead and put the battery points up here somewhere, and there'll be a positive and a negative, and then I'll have the ability to access that with the hood up, and we don't have to go digging around for the battery wherever it's at. So I'll put the access points here. I mean, maybe I'll put them over here only because that'll run straight to the starter. So we'll have power to the starter, and then we'll have the other wire running back to the battery. So we'll put the battery on this side, somewhere over here, and I'll put a battery switch in the back somewhere because race truck, and then we can run power into the cab over there on the fuse panel. I would have put the fuse panel on the driver's side, but there was already so little foot room in there, I didn't want to impose on that. Might as well impose on the passenger that we're only going to have part of the time. Alright, so I think we got that worked out. So I'm going to go get my big thick power wire. We'll start figuring out routing because we don't want to get it caught up with the exhaust. We don't want it to be in any moving parts. I think the other thing we're going to do today is start putting this engine back together. Maybe we can hear it fire off again. This is the big thick cable that we have. So I'm thinking somewhere in this vicinity. And then we run it under to the front. Okay, so in the middle of trying to run that wiring, James showed up. James is local to me here at Grand Lake, Oklahoma, and he watches the channel and just wanted to come help. And, you know, you guys talk about karma coming back around. Well, this is James. He's my karma today. So he's going to help me by installing the water pump, putting all that back, water neck, and I'm going to start working on the transmission because we don't currently have any cooler lines. It's just kind of how it works. Yeah, so he's got that handled. I'm going to get to work.
I'm going to clean this gasket off this water pump.
Now, if you do it wrong, they will criticize you.
Oh.
And if you do it right, they'll still criticize you.
Yeah.
It's YouTube. Yeah. They're smarter than we are.
Oh, of course.
Now, my lovely transmission line kit came with adapters, and this is what came out of the transmission. And guess what? I can't find the adapters. So once I locate them, that'll go a lot smoother. Cooling's for suckers.
Yeah.
Well, behind us in this little portion.
Those are way too big. They'll be perfect.
They'll fit.
All right, well, we went and got those tires mounted up on these rims, and they are just way too big, but they're not touching anything, so that's a plus. And once we get them sucked down, I'm waiting on my proper lug nuts from lugnutguys.com, but they're not here yet. So we're going to use these that are not the right size. We're going to have to rebuild this brake drum so it doesn't look rusty. I guess I need center caps too. All right, there we are. Just to show you how far up it went, that's where it was sitting on that, the jack stand, and it's not now. So it actually has a raked stance by accident. So we might have to lower the back end to get that gasser look to come back maybe. That's going to give us an idea of exactly how high this thing's going to sit off the ground and how it's going to track. And if we want to make any adjustments, now's the time. So it still sits up pretty good, but I think the back still sits up higher. So the ridiculous thing is lower the back. We can't really raise the front. We could lower the front and get it really like Hot Wheels ridiculous. Or we can lower the back and level it out a little bit. We're going to sit and ponder on this for just a minute and then hopefully figure it out and move forward. All right, so James had a great idea. He's off camera. I'm kind of shy, but he had a great idea. So he sat on the back of the truck. It kind of leveled out, but it brought up the point that maybe the bed will help weigh it down. But we need to find out if this tiny little gas tank is going to work. Because if not, I need to order a fuel cell. And that's probably the smart thing to do, but This is Buff's garage. We're cheap. We don't do that. This was on the truck. It is metal. And Depth Tech, they sent me this tool that we can put down the filler neck, and then we'll see. Look at that. I'll be honest, I haven't even opened it yet. Yeah, but we'll put this down there and then we'll see what it looks like. Look at that, fired right up. I haven't even charged it yet, guys. Okay, English. Okay, so we can zoom in, zoom out. We can enter another album. Oh, it's got the flexi tip for our pleasure. Awesome. Okay. Oh, and it'll take video. I'm sure, yeah, I probably have to put an SD card in it. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay, I take it back. It came with an SD card. So, guys, go check out, I'll put the link in the description. Check out Depth Tech. This is the second one they've sent.
A little bit on the bottom.
Yeah, it's a little crusty. It's probably still got leaded in it. This truck sat.
Good. It smells good.
It sat a long, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen worse. You guys know, oh, God.
Yeah, it smells good.
That is not modern gas either.
I got the first whiff of it and I took the bolt out.
Yeah. All right, let's figure out how to hit record. It says, is that record? That's record. This is the inside of your drain hole. Oh, wow. What is that?
No. It's got some...
Is that ancient alien writing?
Maybe.
That looks weird.
Ancient alien theory.
Oh.
Yes. That's sludgy.
That's sludge. You know what I'm not seeing though?
Rust.
No rust. It's got this weird mossy, crusty stuff from sitting all these years. We could tip it up. Oh yeah. But it does have a lot of sludge on the bottom. So, since we have a drain hole, what we're gonna do is we'll take the tank off and we'll fill it full of super clean. Thanks to them, I've got gallons of it to fill this tank up with. So, also hit up Super Clean. Good company. They always take care of Buff's garage. We'll fill this up, we'll hit it with a pressure washer and get as much sludge out as we can. And for those of you saying that's a really bad idea, just remember we did that with Falkenstein. We did that with the El Camino that we rescued, what was that, from the junkyard. And we went to Puddin's and Dalton and I and Puddin all got this car ready for the drag strip. And that gas tank is still running strong to this day, even as bad as it was. So I think instead of buying a fuel cell, we'll buy a lot of fuel filters, hit it with some Super Clean and some pressure washer, replace the hoses, and this will be good to go.
So I'm just going to add a couple of gallons of Super Clean here. Well, if I actually get it in it, that'd be nice.
It's free.
Yeah. And then we'll also find out if there's any holes in this thing.
Although it's only like 15 bucks at the store.
That's not bad.
You need more than a gallon?
Yeah, let's put 2 in there.
Put it on agitate. There you go. Let's see. A fake Edelbrock came off. Let's see if a real one will go on. Kind of. Ah, all right. Now we're good. Get in there. And that is why I love carburetors.
Whoa, Fred.
Fred's trying to take off already.
Jeez.
I mean, he is raring to go. Like, his rolling resistance is really
Zero.
good. He's ready. And I don't even have the rear, you know, what is that, pumpkin in the center section.
Yeah.
Still waiting. Come on. I got the email. They're looking into it. Look at that. How great is that? That's nothing. Oh, we are so close now. Okay. That's installed. Now we just need to add fuel line. All right, update time. Carburetor's installed. Water pump's installed, bottom pulley mostly installed. James has got the fuel tank over here full of super clean. He's been agitating it. More than just calling it names, he's actually giving it a good kick every once in a while. Yeah, we did this, of course, you saw this. This is ridiculous, and every time I see it, it makes me smile. I love it so much. And the front end does not look higher than the back end. We can fix that if we want to lower the back end, but the more I see it, the more I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's kind of growing on me.
I like the gasser stance, but I'm starting to like this even better. And if we can, some 15 by 4s on the front. And before you say those are too skinny, these are only 5 inches wide. So that's what came with the Mustang 2 from factory. I'm telling you, 15 by 4 is not going to be that big a deal because we're going to put a bigger tire on it. So it'll be fine. 15 by 4s on the front, 15 by 8s on the back. I just need to sell a couple $100 in merch, and you guys are really good at doing that. You buy shirts, you buy hats, and soon, coming next month, you'll be able to get hoodies. So I don't have those ready yet, but hit up the merch. Let's get some new wheels for Fred, the little race truck, maybe? I don't know. I'm excited now. All right, getting way ahead of ourselves, but for a good cause. We need to put the oil filter relocator bracket in. To do that, I kind of want to get an idea where everything's going to basically land so that it doesn't immediately cut the hoses. We're close. And we close the door because it's actually cooler in here than it is outside. And that's saying something because it's almost 100 in here. No.
No.
Why is
Not
that?
at all.
Why is that touching?
Is this supposed to go out here? Over that way?
No, because it's got to line up with the pulley.
Yeah.
You think that's 9/16 or half? It's probably half.
Probably half.
All right, with that, we've got fan spinach. It doesn't hit anything. Let's see. Hey. Whoops. Could probably put it clear back here. No.
No, he'll fit the...
Gonna have to be there.
Yep.
That ain't gonna work. That isn't gonna work. Could I put it back on that side of the frame by the transmission maybe? All right, we're still looking for a home for the oil filter. I went to get a new one because the engine was full of gas, and he didn't happen to have a Wix filter in the size I need, but he had something called a Baldwin filter, and he said they're really good too. So we're gonna mock this in place, give us an idea how much room we're gonna need, and we're gonna try to fit this. I think, as much as I really wanted it up front, I think what we're gonna do is try to put it back near the transmission, which is about where the filter would go anyway, but it'll be on the frame instead of on the engine. So let's see if it fits. All right, from what I see, we can access it right now from the top, but it'll be from the bottom. But it looks like we can put it right here. It clears everything. The hoses will then run around to here. So we won't need a lot of hose. And I'll look underneath, but I'm pretty sure we can still get the filter on and off. So James did a little bit of CAD for me, and that's where that's at. We're gonna go map it out on the frame, and then I'm gonna use my angle drill here, and we're gonna attempt to drill some weird holes. This will be the only time we can do this from the inside. I guess I could build a trap door, but I don't really think I need to do that. No reason to put these on with an impact. And no, I'm not putting my last four of my social or my mother's maiden name on there. Got plenty of clearance all the way around it. It's not going to hit anything when I go to pull the filter off. There is a mount here, but it clears that. I've tried that already. Our hoses go right to our engine. Everything looks good here. Oh wait, I got the jack stand for my safety. There we go. How you feeling, Fred? Rum, rum, rum. Oh yeah, he's happy. His whole body is shaking because he's not bolted down yet. Okay, all right, we got all this done. So now we should probably finish hooking up the fuel, because that's what you want to do. And then we'll hook up some power and do the wrong thing and fire this guy up and just see what happens. We are absolutely not ready for that, but aren't you ready for it? I'm ready for it. Well, I'm hooking up a battery just to get this thing to run. James back here has thrown some extra bolts into the mix, literally, and is shaking up the tank.
Yeah, it's going to have to sit for a little bit longer. It's getting...
Hopefully the pressure washer takes most of that out.
Yeah, it's loosening
And now
it up.
that I know it's got a drain plug, that's even better. All right, at this point, I'm gonna take this giant wire and hook it to our starter here. It will probably end up being the wire that we use to go to the battery, which will be in the bed. So I'll probably run it a different way then. But for now, it's gonna go the up and over route. So this end is way too big, and it's gonna hit the case. But you know me, I was just trying to use the scrap stuff that I had. So this is gonna hit the case, which of course won't work. It's gonna short out. So we'll put a new end on this one that will work, and then we'll call it good. We went ahead and scrapped that idea. This one already has ends on it. It's a little smaller, but we don't need a lot for right now. So we'll just, oh yeah, perfect fit. You know, you don't want them too big. Sometimes you want them a little smaller. You don't want them too small, but it needs to be just the right size. Make it slide right on there. We'll tighten it all up. It fits just right. It gives you the most bang for your buck. It's just perfect. And this I can flip down later and run it under the car or truck or whatever Fred is, run it all the way to the bed. It should be long enough for that. All right, that does not touch anything. We are happy. Let's put our starter wire on. All right, all we're doing now is putting a starter wire on just so I have something to trigger. We were going to originally run this to the actual starter switch because that ignition switch is there, but it's not completely finished being wired in, but we're impatient. So we're going to tighten this down, just do the old run it to the battery trick. I could not find any more VR1 oil where I was at today. That is not anyone's fault but mine. Should have thought more about it. But I have this Rotella T4. This is not what's staying in the truck. If you remember when I pulled the pan, a lot of gas came out. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this for a little bit. Obviously, I don't even have a radiator yet. So we are jumping the gun a little bit. That's okay. We're going to go throw this VR1 in there. Give it every chance it gets. And then before I go to Tucson, we're going to change that filter and oil one more time, just to be sure. Now, even though we're doing this a little bit premature, we want to see what it looks like with the bed on it, which means we're probably going to have to cut the bed to fit the tires, but that's okay. This is what it's all about. Holy goat, you just wait your turn, buddy. Ugh. It's been a while since this has been on its side, or on its laid flat. Hey, almost all the water's out of it. You think we can lift it?
Yeah.
Oh, the back end's heavier than the front. This is why I just tipped it off. Whoops. And we're hitting truck. This is why I lifted from the jack stands. And we're definitely...
We can go your way.
Wait a minute, yeah. What are we hitting?
I'm not sure. Yeah, because we gotta go your way.
Yeah, it needs to go my way. I just can't figure out what it's hitting.
Oh, I see.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks better.
It's
Wait a minute.
lift up and move back a bit. There we go. Now it's in its mounting holes.
Wait a minute. Hold on. That doesn't have to get cut.
Nope.
All right, we gotta get a little closer look at this. Wow. Man, part of me wants to lower it a little bit, but Also not. I didn't realize that bed sat up that high.
Yeah.
But that's sitting on the mount.
Yeah, I put it in the front holes.
Yeah, it's sitting right on the mount. But you see the body line matches.
Yeah.
So it never did have a lip under it. That's why it needs the side pipes.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's check this side. Yeah, no touchy. Wow, we accidentally saved ourselves a lot of work, even though those tires are freaking huge. Don't ever do this. We're just gonna help it. A little tappy tap. Here we go. We're gonna hook our power up. Nothing's on fire, Ricky Bobby. So far, so good. Okay, let's test to see if we got continuity. We do not. Is our battery dead? I see sparks, but it's not doing the thing. We switched out for the deep cycle battery. This is the extra one I always keep in Falkenstein just in case. Yep, we got startage. So let's get the mustard out. Give it a little mustard. That's probably way too much. But we know there's no fuel in the system, so we need it to suck up from our wonderful fuel tank. It helps if you hook up spark. Now let's try it. Yep. That's all it needed was a little spark. Now we're going to put way too much fuel in it again. Keep in mind we're going to pull this oil back out. We haven't quite got the fuel coming up yet. Nope. Oh, quit moving, truck. I forget he rolls. I'm gonna give it a fighting chance by pouring way too much fuel everywhere, but mostly it's going in, assuming my fuel pump works. All right. Yeah. It wants to go. Oh, so close. Need to adjust the timing.
Yeah.
It wants to go.
Wow.
That's
impressive.
fun. Still on fire. All right. So we definitely need to adjust the timing, but Fred lives again. He's alive, just not quite timed right. So we'll get back into that. We'll figure all that out on the next episode of Buff's Garage. So thanks for watching. Hit up the merch. Thanks to everybody that came out to help and all the guys in the comments. I know you're out there. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Okay, just got to say, we accidentally built a very amazing truck. So again, thank you to all you guys for watching and keeping this particular build going. I couldn't have done it without you. Fred the Little Farm Truck is alive. He's going to be very well very soon because we're going to finish up the electrical, build us a firewall so we don't die, put some interior in him, and then we're going to duct tape drags in Tucson, Arizona. So stay tuned for the rest of him. It may be an episode or two before I get back to him, but he's coming together real quick.